Hi, I'm Jake Efros,
And I'm Jackson Britsky.
and we're running for CGI President and Vice President.
No, that was last year, Jake.
Oh, shoot. Right. Today, we are hosting the Even Though You're Trying to Take Our Jobs, we'll host a debate for you anyway. Debate.
And here are our candidates.
Hi, I'm Sarah Berkeley. I'm running for CGI President with Alessandra Canario. Hi, I'm Beth Connors, and I'm running with Henry Solotoff-Weber.
Hey CGI, I'm Anna Bonesteel and I'm running with Will Garner.
Hi, I'm Elena Semberis and I'm running with Emma Axelrod.
I'm Gabe Rosenthal and I'm running with Henry Whipple.
Alright, our first question is, we will pick up where we left off last time with Beth's comments that she was different from the other candidates because she has a specific plan for the Institute. Do any of the other candidates have anything to say about this?
We're starting with me.
Anyone?
Yeah,
Am I not allowed to talk?
Yeah, you can.
No, you're not allowed to talk. So I guess I can start with my plans for improving the recruiting process. I feel like the recruiting process we have now is just a little awkward. It's kind of lacking. I did a lot of recruiting this year, and every time I went into one of those freshman classrooms, I felt like I didn't really. The script was kind of bogus, and I didn't feel like I wasn't really telling them actual fact about the Institute. So I figured, why don't we have CGI open house once or twice, and we can get some teachers and maybe a representative from every department, and we can go to the freshman building during the lunch periods, and people can just drop by and they can get actual stories and actual, I suppose, experience from people on the inside instead of that kind of rushed 5-minute spiel that you have to give while Dr. Voltman is staring you down. And beyond that, Henry and I are looking at the Congress system. I guess we're all looking at the Congress system. We feel like it's headed in the right direction, but it's kind of awkward. So we definitely think, first off, all bill topics have to be chosen by the students. That just makes sense, right? So we think that we should put a suggestion box in every department, and every time we need a new bill topic, we collect all the suggestion boxes, and we look in those, and we run them by the teachers and see which ones they like, because that'll make them happy or whatever. And then we send them back to the students for a vote, and everybody gets to kind of choose what they want to do. So that's just some of the things that we've been talking about.
I guess I'll go next. So me and Emma's idea, our first idea is that we're going to have an open door policy. So anyone who has any issues or questions about CGI can always come talk to us or message us or email us or however they can reach us to get out their voices about the problems they're having. Because I know that there are a lot of people in CGI who are really enthusiastic about it, but there are also people in CGI who aren't so crazy about it. So that's our way of kind of meeting people halfway, because me and Emma stand in the middle. Our other idea is to expand on mentoring by me and Emma giving up our own time during lunch or after school once a week to talk to people in CGI, anyone that wants to come, about the news or current events or just their own lives. And also about Congress, me and Gabe do stand similarly that me and Emma want to have a student consensus be what decides the bill topics, because it's important that students stay informed, but I know for me, a lot of the reason I don't speak in Congress is because I either don't know enough or I'm not passionate about the issue we're talking about. So I think it's important that students have a chance to debate something they care a lot about so that everyone can talk.
So I'm just going to respond directly to the statements that Beth made in the last debate, and I think it's great that we all have specific ideas, and I think that we all have like a concrete plan for moving the Institute forward. But what we need to consider right now is not those specific ideas, because any of us could enact that change. All of us are capable candidates. What we need to consider specifically is the ideology that guides these decisions forward and what would influence our decisions next year. So because I find a lot of support from the average CGI member and from the base of the Institute, the people who aren't necessarily satisfied with CGI all the time, we need to take those into account in deciding our long-range decisions regarding the Institute's health and its continued success.
Can you elaborate on that? Can you explain that?
So I believe that we all have a base of ideas that we would like to implement next year. Like I have Senate breakfasts and other community ideas that we can bring back, revive traditions, bring back procedure books and things like that. But because those are kind of ideas that come from within CGI and not necessarily from the executive branch, I don't think that those should be debated or should be put in stone before the election has commenced.
I actually couldn't disagree with you more. I feel like adding all these small, kind of intricate, easy to do things, like a backyard barbecue, like a sophomore letters, are the cutesy things that are going to make the Institute great again, that are going to make the Institute a place where people are going to walk into Congress and say to a sophomore, like a senior, walk up to a sophomore and be like, hey, like, I'm so glad, like, and really know each other, get to know each other. And that's that's how you start to make big changes, big lasting changes, by taking the small steps, the small easy steps now. And by promising that in my campaign, I'm just ensuring and assuring that all the people that vote for me are going to get those programs next year, that they're going to get every single thing that I'm asking them that they want.
I agree with you, but in the past we've had problems with promises not being followed through on, and I think that the base ideology is what we should focus on now, because as you were saying, these are kind of easy to put in place programs, and we can all think of these things. They are kind of innovative ideas, and I commend you for thinking of them, but I don't think they should be what is discussed in the spotlight right now.
But I think that what we were saying before is that it's hard to distinguish candidates from each other, and I think that the individual ideas that each of us have are what's going to set us apart from each other. And I think that people are deciding who they want to lead the Institute. They want to know what direction it will go in. And I mean, you've said yourself that you aren't as happy with CGI, which I understand, but I would like to know personally, like, some ways that you plan on improving it.
Okay, for now, let's move on.
Yeah, just to respond to Beth's initial question. So we actually have a very specific plan for the Institute. First, we want to reform Congress. We would like to have Congress resemble the U.S. Congress a little more. By this we mean we want to implement committees that the U.S. Congress has, and CGI, instead of debating just one issue, we would debate all of the issues within the jurisdiction of a specific committee of the U.S. Congress, and this would broaden debate, but at the same time it would keep it focused. And so this is just our idea of making government more of a priority in CGI, and just instead of pushing that to the side, we want it to be the Civics and Government Institute, not just civics. In addition, we really focused a lot about passion in this campaign. We proposed service projects that students could complete, to motivate students to actually enact real change. We know that students in CGI are passionate, and we would just like to bring that to life, and these service projects are just a proposal to sort of give students an opportunity to do what they love in CGI. Also, we would just like CGI to make more of an impact in the state and local scale. We want to lobby for more change, well, I've said enact real change quite a bit, but we want to send petitions and legislation to state government, local government, just so our voices are heard, and because I think we debate some really great topics in CGI, and we would just love to bring that, make it applicable. So those are just some of our ideas.
All right, I would like to ask Beth another question. You said that that we make the Institute great again, and since you had an older sibling who's a part of CGI, do you feel that, has she said anything about the Institute being better back then, and that's made decline, or why do you say that we need to make the Institute great again?
I can remember, this is distinctly, the moment I knew I wanted to be in CGI, I can distinctly remember it. It was when my sister walked up to me and she said, I love CGI so much that I'm going to bake 500 cupcakes for the incoming class. Can you help me? And my job was to write CGI in like frosting on all the cupcakes. And I started writing GGI and got fired, and my sister was like, you're not worthy, like, they'll never, like, you're fired, like, you're not allowed to write CGI on any of the cupcakes anymore. And I was like, no, like, I need to be part of this. And so, but then when I got here, there wasn't anyone that was willing to make 500 cupcakes for the Institute, that was willing to, like, stick their arm out and help a sophomore that's confused. And I was like, that's not how it should be, that's not how, it was like everyone walked into Congress and was like, oh God, we have to debate again, and oh God, McLaughlin's gonna yell at me, and oh God, like, no, like,
CGI is supposed to be a fun place where all of us can enjoy each other's intelligent and intellectual company.
Can I interject there really
Yeah.
quickly? So I think it would be great for all of us to be happy all the time in CGI, but logistically that's just not going to happen. And I think there are a lot of fun parts of CGI and there are a lot of not so fun parts of CGI. And just working on policies that are going to help only the people who enjoy CGI 24/7 is just not something that we need to work on next year.
That's not true. All of the things that I'm putting in place, especially the alumni network for juniors, are things that even if you're like not so sure about CGI, it's things that you can use and you can benefit from. The alumni network, for instance. So people that have graduated from CGI, the senior class president will get in touch with them, and people that are at these top colleges, like Anna Mazarakis at Princeton. That way, if you want to tour Princeton, I know Leo Henschker wants to tour Princeton. If you want to tour Princeton, you can contact Anna and go to lunch with Anna or visit her dorm and really get to talk to someone that's already in a school. And that way, even if you're lackluster about CGI, even if you only, literally the top two reasons of why people join CGI is because they love government or they did it because they want to get into college. Honestly. That way, if you're that second person that you only join CGI because you want to get into college, you have that connection, you have that network that you can use to tour the top schools and to meet with people that are actually going there.
Personally, when I joined CGI, I didn't know why I was joining it, and all I wanted after sophomore year was over was kind of a less painful CGI and kind of something that wouldn't press so much work upon me all the time. So that's kind of what I want to enact for the next year's incoming class.
I mean,
You go ahead.
okay, well, I went to Renaissance, and I know what I had there was I was part of this large community, or a small community. It was like a family, and when I got to the high school, it was overwhelming. I mean, there was like 5 times as many kids in our grade as there was at Renaissance, well, like way more than that, like 10 times. Well, I don't really know. But,
A lot more.
so, yeah. So
A lot more.
when I got to CGI, it was like I had that small community again, and CGI last year with our grade, it was really big, and this year it's a little bit smaller, but I still think it could be a lot more of a community than it is right now. So what me and Emma want to do is we really want to make sure that everyone gets comfortable with each other and everyone knows each other and knows what's going on in each other's lives, and that's what we plan to do with our expansion on mentoring idea. And I think what is important is that the people that, like Beth said, are really enthusiastic and are willing to go to all lengths to make CGI the best place possible, and like Anna said, the people that aren't happy about CGI all the time are both happy. And I think that having a community will make that happen. I think if everyone is part of something and they know they're part of something, then it'll be great.
So again, this round of question, I want to get back to the first question that was asked. It was the initial.
Make CGI great again.
Yeah, about how it used to be versus how it is now. So, are you saying that this is how it used to be and we've lost some of that?
What do you mean?
I mean, just to kind of have this go back to the question we asked at the beginning.
I think I see what you're trying to say. I think CGI. I remember when I was in middle school, I heard a lot about CGI from my friend's older sister. She was always going on and on and on about CGI. She never shut up about it, and she just really loved it. And then I got to middle school, and all my teachers were talking, but they would talk about CGI. Most of my history teachers, they would talk about CGI. They would talk to my class about CGI. They would talk to me about CGI, and they got me really excited. It was just kind of this. It was so. I don't know. I thought it was so cool. Like, there was this place in the high school where all these people got together, and they had a community, and they could talk about issues, and they could have debate, and it just sounded really, really, really fun. And I remember I kind of souped up CGI in my head, and I thought it would be like the coolest thing that I would ever do while I was in my Montclair school years. But then I got here, and while I really do like CGI, I feel like there's some magic that the Institute has lost. I feel like I think what we're moving towards now with the current Congress system and the way CGI works is a bit more. We're really focused on doing a lot of, we're writing position papers, we're cracking down on bills. So I feel like what we're moving towards is a much, much more intense institute, and I feel like we're losing a bit of the I guess, the magic.
Would anyone else like to?
Oh, well, in making CGI great again, well, we just wanted to address government first. We think CGI is great as it is right now, and I guess implementing more community programs is something that's going to boost CGI, as everyone has said they want to institute cute programs and community building, team building, family-esque programs. But just aside from that, we want to bring government back, because I feel like that is a huge reason why people join CGI. Like, you don't join something called the Civics and Government Institute if you don't have an interest in government. And if CGI has lost anything over the years, and I can't speak for, you know, many years past, but I feel like it's lost some of the government emphasis, and we just want to bring that back.
Can I? Well, I think what's sort of taken away from the institute and lost the magic is that I think the students of CGI have kind of lost their voices. I don't think any of the students would think, oh, like, let's have everyone write 2 position papers in marking period. I don't think that's a student's idea. And so what Emma and I, if we were elected, we would serve the people, and our open door policy would help us take any ideas the students have and try to enact it in any way we can. And I think that if students had a larger voice, and I think that would make some of the institute have some of its magic back. And there's something else I was going to say. Come
All right, well, when I was, as a president of the sophomore class and as the events coordinator this year, I noticed a lot of the times I'd have really great ideas, and then Miss McLaughlin or another teacher would be like, no. And, and I'm not blaming them, it's just something that they have to do, that they have to, like, kind of curb you, like, no, you can't go paintballing with all. No, but, like, you can't go paintballing with the whole thing, like, whatever.
remember a pie eating contest.
So before I even started debating, before I even went to any of these debates, and before I even, like, made my ideas public of what I want to do next year, I went and talked to her, and I said, Miss McLaughlin, these are my ideas for next year, and I want these to pass. I want you to see them now, and I want you to, like, give me the go-ahead green light now, right now, before I promise anything to the institute. And so a lot of you have talked about reforming Congress, and the one thing that she said about reforming Congress is that it's factored into our Period 2 grade, so it's mostly a teacher decision. It's not really our decision on how to make this huge change within the institute. And I have ideas about how to make that huge change, and I'm going to fight tooth and nail to get them. But the thing is, when I told her about all the cute, like, small things that I want to do to make CGI a family again, she said, absolutely, that's social things. That's things that are easy and small and things that you can do that will make CGI great again. And I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to sit down and put into action all the things that I'm promising. And that is what's going to make CGI great again.
Can I just jump in here really quick? I think what Beth is kind of getting at is that we need to start on the inside. I don't think it really makes a lot of sense to kind of project the image of CGI out as much. I think especially as we just had a huge revamping of Period 2, which is a really good thing to point out, that Period 2 is, you know, a grade. We just had a huge change in that system, so I think we're still kind of figuring it out. We're still feeling it out, and I think the path that the Institute is headed towards is a little unclear. So I think we, as candidates, need to be thinking about what we're doing internally before we go back out again. I think because we've had such a radical change, we need to kind of regroup as a body. We need to kind of come back together as the Civics and Government Institute before we start moving outward.
I wholeheartedly agree with Gabe, and I think that what we really need to do starts from the inside of the Institute. Yes, high five. Woo! Agreement. So the efficiency that my platform promises, yeah, the efficiency that my platform promises is something that we really need to bring into the Institute before we work on these greater exterior goals. So all of these different things that we can put into place we can bring back different things that would make CGI more a smaller body, not necessarily like size smaller, but smaller in terms of the ideas and the goals that we have, or not even smaller in terms of that, but like, we have a redefined a new definition of what it means to be a CGI member, and a new definition of what it means to enact change, because we all are capable of enacting change, and we all can do all these things that we're promising. But the question is, how does that relate to the rest of the body, and how does that apply to the people who are at the bottom of the institute, at the middle, and at the top, in terms of their enthusiasm and effectiveness?
Yeah, just to finish what I was going to say before, me and Emma have definitely several ideas that we know that we can make changes because it's coming from our time. But I mean, we don't have a list of ideas that we've talked about or thought about, because our whole thing is we want to make the people happy, and we don't want to come up with too many ideas and promise things that the people don't want. So if we were elected, we would definitely get feedback from the students, so we would make sure that they would be behind us and we would do what they wanted to do, not only what we wanted to do, so that it's more of a democracy.
Okay, and we're gonna end that question there, and then to next.
Jake, just before we go on, I just wanted to warn you, your cat appears to have found your tripod, and that could end really poorly.
Hey.
That cat's eyes, oh my god, I can't.
There you go.
Maybe if you had like a bag of,
You want to be my mascot, right?
some catnip.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the closest to me, I win the cat.
Oh,
Just
what?
saying.
You said catnip.
Dog.
I touched the cat, so I win.
Okay.
That's that.
Thank you.
Debate over.
What?